Help yourself, beat the heat is a slogan that states facts. Heat sickness is divided into three types: heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. In the years that have passed, heat cramps and heat exhaustion were thought to be necessary evils and part of the job in hot industry. During the last few years, extensive study has been made and some very simple and interesting facts have been established. The blast furnace is a machine built by man to obtain a very essential end product from the earth. The blast furnace requires coke, limestone, and iron ore in order to function properly. If the proper ratio of these materials is not maintained, then the end product is not satisfactory. So it is with the human body. Suitable food must be provided. Large quantities of sweat contain large quantities of salt. Along with this loss of salt and water, dextrose is used in abnormally large quantities due to muscle function. A typical case will be presented in which the workman does the things he should not do. Let's call him Oscar Wise Guy. He goes to bed at 3 a.m. The clock buzzes at 6 a.m., to which he does not respond. He probably has been drinking alcoholic beverages, which further upset the normal body processes. He gets up late, takes no bath, rushes off without any suitable food, usually just a cup of coffee. After having an insufficient breakfast, he grabs his hat and lunch and starts to work. He has a fast ride to work, which breaks all safety campaigns and is a menace to life in general. He dashes through the clock house and barely gets to work on time. In the mill, he comes in contact with real heat. It is not the heat itself which is responsible for heat sickness, but the poor physical condition and lack of food and rest which make him an excellent candidate for the hospital. He does not bother to take any salt and dextrose candies. Dextrose is a form of sugar which combats fatigue. For his lunch, he eats sandwiches containing highly seasoned, poorly digestible meats. These sandwiches would probably digest normally under ordinary circumstances, but due to the altered body functions, they do not digest. This adds insult to injury, and the workman develops dizziness, cramps, weakness, nausea, and vomiting, and collapses while at work. The ambulance is called. He is taken to the emergency hospital, where salt and sugar and water are given by the doctors, and in a relatively short time, he may feel better, but not well enough to return to work, with the result that he loses 1 or 2 shifts. Now that Oscar Wise Guy is in the hospital and unable to work, a workman will be presented who lives a normal, healthy life and really prepares himself properly for his work. This workman goes to bed at a reasonable time, in this instance, 11 p.m. for the morning shift. The alarm rings at 6 a.m. The workman, having had a sufficient, restful sleep, gets up promptly and takes a leisurely bath or shower. The bath is very valuable in the hot weather because the clean skin pores excrete body poison. He eats a highly nourishing, easily digestible breakfast, which will provide sufficient protein until he begins to replenish the water and salt lost by means of salty gumdrops with dextrose. He takes his hat and rides to work, having plenty of time to go through the clock house and get to work on time. Let's call this workman Joe Wright. He works at the soaking pit. Notice that he has only started his shift when he begins to take his dextrose and salt tablets. The never-ending mass of red-hot ingots continues. Each hour he takes dextrose and salt with a glass of water. His physical condition is still tops, though he is a little hungry. At the end of the 4th hour of the shift, he will be ready for proper food, in addition to dextrose and salt. His meal consists of a tomato and an egg sandwich, a very nice fruit salad, some salted potato chips or salted nuts, a bottled soft drink, a candy bar for dessert, and a glass of water. The weather is hot in addition to the ingots, and it is time for more dextrose and salt to replace that lost during work. The heat continues, but all losses of essential materials have been more than replaced. It is time to quit, but just once more to make sure. A bath after work not only cleans the skin, but tends to reduce any elevation of body temperature. And Joe Wright is through work for the day. The cars proceed home in a leisurely manner, and he has beat the heat for one more day. It has been found that when the men return to work after being off for several days, the incidence of heat sickness is higher. They appear to have lost their protective resistance. When the heat spell lasts for several days, special precautions and extra salt, dextrose, and water should be taken. Diabetics and individuals with high blood pressure should consult their family physician for advice before consuming large quantities of dextrose and salt. Well, look who's here.
I'll help myself beat the heat. Make mine spinach.
Whoop, whoop. After work is finished, you may plan to have your dinner at the regular time. This may consist of cream soup, chicken, fish, beef, or lamb, which have been baked, boiled, or broiled, 2 vegetables, a salad, a dessert, and sufficient liquids such as iced tea, iced coffee, milk, or soft drinks. In excessive heat, foods which digest under ordinary circumstances will not be digested readily. Before going to work, take sufficient leisure and rest. Do not do hard labor in the garden or repair work in the hot sun at this time. These are the foods which should be avoided before you come to work. Chili con carne, corned beef hash, fried pork chops with fried potatoes, roast pork, roast beef, sauerkraut, either by itself or with wieners, or with pig's knuckles, pickled herring, fried meats with gravy, beef stew, pork and beans, and lastly, innocent but indigestible corn. Alcoholic drinks should be used only moderately during the hot weather. Do you want to beat the heat? All right, here's how you do it. Take life easy when you're not at work. Enjoy your home and garden and family. Lie around in the shade and read and relax. Stay out of the direct rays of the sun. Bathing should be daily during the hot weather, either in large bodies of water or in a shower or bathtub. No matter which shift you work, eat a light, easily digestible meal, which consists of fruit juice, one of the popular cereals with fruit and milk or cream, toast with jelly or jam, and a soft-boiled or poached egg. Liquids should be taken plentifully. You notice that no fried foods or meats are included in the meal before work. While at work, the food which is consumed should be readily digested. Sardines, which may be had with lettuce or greens. Peanut butter, which, it is claimed, does not stick to the roof of your mouth. Crisp bacon may be used with tomato or lettuce. Tuna fish is much like the white of chicken. Salmon in several varieties. Jellies, jams, or preserves contain a high sugar content. Eggs in almost any form but fried are suitable. Many varieties of cheeses are highly nutritious and easily digested. Fruit and vegetable salads make a nice addition to the rather dry sandwiches. Fruits are most universally liked and are very popular and readily obtained. Cottage cheese, alone or added to fruits, makes a nice-looking and tasty dish. These salads are again valuable because they are high in their sugar content. Citrus fruits, in the form of oranges, lemons, and grapefruit, have a relatively high content of vitamin C. Fresh tomato with mayonnaise dressing is very acceptable and is relatively cheap. Watercress and greens of many varieties contain minerals and large amounts of chlorophyll. A vegetable which is abundant during the summer months and which digests easily is string beans, either yellow or green. Potatoes are probably the best source of carbohydrate energy, but should not be consumed when fried or baked in grease. A particularly tempting and highly nutritious dish is boiled rice, garnished with brown sugar and butter or cream, or macaroni and spaghetti with a simple tomato sauce. Cooked tomatoes still retain their vitamins. Fresh carrots and peas, yes. But old carrots and turnips, no. Buttered asparagus, even though out of season, may be obtained in the popular frozen foods or in cans. Milk contains nearly all the food requirements of the body. Pineapple, orange, grapefruit, and lemon juices are readily available. The many varieties of cola on the market today contain sugar, are highly nutritious, but should not be taken too cold or in too large quantities. Ginger ale quenches thirst and supplies the liquid needs of the body. Last but not least is root beer, an old standby and still good. Each of the candies contains 50 grains of dextrose and 6 grains of salt, which, when taken with a glass of water every hour during the hot weather while at work, will supply the body with the salt, sugar, and water which it needs. Every case of heat sickness can be prevented. The clean, healthy human body, when properly clothed and free from constipation and intestinal upsets, can withstand very high temperatures. So everybody on your toes 24 hours a day for 100% production for national defense.